You know what separates you from the life you want? One decision. Not 10 decisions, not 100 steps, one decision. The decision to stop seeing yourself as ordinary. Every morning you wake up and reinforce the same story about who you are, what you are capable of, where you belong. That story was written by other people. Your parents, your teachers, your past failures, your criticisms, your disappointments. They wrote your story, and you have been reading from their script ever since. You are playing a role they assigned you. But you never agreed to this. You never signed a contract saying this is all you get to be. So why are you still following their script today? You rewrite it today. You decide that you are done being who they said you were today. You become who you say you are. And the person you say you are is excellent, capable, unstoppable, and already successful. You are better than you think you are right now, at this very moment. You possess capabilities that you have never used. You have potential that remains untapped. You have abilities lying dormant inside you that could change everything about your life. The question is not whether you have what it takes. The question is whether you will act like you have what it takes. Here is a fact that will change your life if you truly understand it. Your potential is virtually unlimited. But here's the problem. Most people never come close to using even a fraction of what they were born with. Studies show that the average person uses only 10% of their mental capacity. 10%. That means 90% of your ability is sitting there, waiting, unused, like a muscle that has never been exercised. And why? Because somewhere along the line, you accepted a version of yourself that is far smaller than who you really are. The principle I want you to understand today is simple but profound. Act as if you are the best. Act as if no one is better than you, not because you need to prove something to anyone else, not because you need to put others down, but because when you act as if you are excellent, your mind and your body respond by making you excellent. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. When you consistently behave like a top performer, you become a top performer. This is not positive thinking. This is the science of human psychology. Every single thing you do in life is controlled by your self-position. Your self-position is the way you see yourself and think about yourself. It is like a mental blueprint. If you see yourself as average, you will perform at an average level. If you see yourself as below average, you will sabotage your own success to stay consistent with that image. But if you see yourself as excellent, as someone operating at the highest level, your actions will automatically align with that vision. You will walk differently, you will talk differently, you will make decisions differently, you will solve problems differently. Everything changes when your self-picture changes. Most people have their self-prejudice programmed into them by accident. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your early experiences. All of these things created beliefs about who you are and what you are capable of. Maybe someone told you that you were not smart enough. Maybe you failed at something and decided that meant you were a failure. Maybe you grew up in an environment where people settled for less and you absorbed that as normal. Whatever the cause, you developed a ceiling on your potential, and now that ceiling is invisible but absolutely real. It controls everything you do. But here is the liberating truth. Just as your self-position was programmed, it can be reprogrammed. You can decide right now to see yourself differently. You can choose to act as if you are already the person you want to become. And when you do that consistently, your reality will shift to match your behavior. Let me tell you about Bradley. Bradley sold furniture at a retail store. He was struggling. His sales numbers were at the bottom of the team every single month. He would approach customers nervously, apologetically. He would say things like, "I don't want to bother you, but if you need help, let me know." His body language communicated that he did not belong there. He did not believe he had value to offer. And customers felt that. They avoided him. They bought from other salespeople who seemed more confident, more knowledgeable, more like experts. One day, Bradley's manager sat him down and asked him a simple question. If you were the best furniture salesperson in this entire city, how would you act? How would you walk? How would you talk to customers? How would you present the products? Bradley thought about it. He realized that the best salesperson would not apologize for existing. The best would walk with certainty. The best would speak with authority. The best would believe that customers were lucky to get their guidance. So Bradley made a decision. He decided to act as if he were already the best, not someday, not after he got better. Right now, he changed his posture. He stood taller. He made eye contact when customers walked in. He approached them with confidence and said, "Welcome. I am going to help you find exactly what you need today." He spoke about the furniture with expertise and enthusiasm. He asked questions like a consultant, not like a clerk. Within 3 months, Bradley went from the bottom performer to the number 2 salesperson in the entire store. Within 6 months. He was number 1. Nothing about the products changed. Nothing about the customers changed. Everything about Bradley changed because he changed how he saw himself and acted accordingly. This is what I mean by acting as if you are the best. You do not wait until you feel confident. You act confident and the feeling follows. You do not wait until you have proof. You act like someone who is already successful and the proof appears. Most people have this backwards. They think they will act like a winner after they win. But winners act like winners before they win. That is why they win. I find that consider what timidity costs you. Every time you hold back, you pay a price. Every time you play small, you lose. Every time you let fear stop you from showing up fully, you sacrifice opportunity. Calculate this over a lifetime. How many chances have you missed because you did not feel good enough? How many relationships? How many career opportunities? How many experiences? The cost is staggering, and it is completely unnecessary. You have permission right now to act as if you are excellent. You do not need a diploma to give you permission. You do not need someone else's approval. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. You simply decide. You decide that from this moment forward, you will carry yourself like someone who has immense value to offer the world, because you do. Your self-concept is the master program running your life. Everything you accomplish or fail to accomplish flows directly from how you see yourself on the inside. Your self-concept has 3 parts, and understanding these 3 parts gives you the power to transform your entire existence. The first part is your self-ideal. This is your vision of the perfect you, the person you would most like to become. Your self-ideal includes your values, your virtues, the qualities you admire most. When you think about the kind of person you respect, the kind of character you want to develop, that is your self-ideal. The clearer your self-ideal, the more powerful your motivation becomes. Top performers have crystal clear self-ideal. They know exactly who they are working to become. The second part is your self-picture. This is how you see yourself right now. This is the picture you hold of your current abilities, your current worth, your current position in life. Your self-picture determines your performance in every area. If you see yourself as competent, you perform competently. If you see yourself as awkward, you act awkwardly. You always perform on the outside consistent with the picture you hold on the inside. Always. There are no exceptions to this rule. The third part is your self-esteem. This is how much you like yourself. This is the emotional component. Your self-esteem determines how much happiness you allow yourself to experience. It determines the quality of your relationships. It determines your resilience when facing setbacks. People with high self-esteem bounce back quickly from disappointment. People with low self-esteem get knocked down and stay down. Your self-esteem is the foundation of your mental health and your success. Now here is what you must understand. Your self-concept was programmed into you, mostly before you were 7 years old. Your parents, your family, your early environment, all of these factors shaped how you see yourself. And most of this programming happened by accident. Nobody sat down and carefully designed your self-concept to support your success. It just happened. You absorbed messages, you internalized experiences, you formed conclusions about yourself. And many of those conclusions were wrong. Maybe you tried something and failed, and you decided you were not capable. Maybe someone criticized you, and you believed them. Maybe you compared yourself to others and decided you were inferior. These beliefs took root in your subconscious mind, and now they operate automatically, controlling your behavior without your conscious awareness. But the magnificent truth is this: you can reprogram your self-concept deliberately. You can choose new beliefs. You can install new programs. Your brain is plastic. It changes based on what you feed it. When you consistently act as if you are excellent, your brain rewires itself to support that identity. This is not theory. This is neuroscience. Think of your self-concept like a thermostat. A thermostat is set to maintain a certain temperature. When the room gets too cold, the heater kicks on. When the room gets too hot, the air conditioning kicks on. The thermostat keeps everything at the preset level. Your self-concept works exactly the same way. If you are set at a $50,000 a year self-concept, and you suddenly start earning $80,000, you will unconsciously sabotage yourself back down to 50. You will spend more. You will make poor decisions. You will find a way to return to your comfort zone. But if you reset your thermostat to 100,000, you will find ways to earn 100,000. You will see opportunities you never noticed before. You will take actions you never took before. Everything adjusts to match your internal setting. There is a law that governs all of this. It is called the law of correspondence. Your outer world corresponds to your inner world. Your relationships correspond to your self-esteem. Your income corresponds to your self-esteem around money. Your health corresponds to your self-concept around your body. You cannot outperform your self-concept for long. If you do, you will unconsciously bring yourself back down. This is why lottery winners often go broke. Their outer wealth exceeded their inner wealth. The two must correspond. So the outer reality collapsed to match the inner reality. This means that if you want to change your circumstances, you must first change your beliefs. You must change how you see yourself. You cannot wait for the circumstances to change first. It does not work that way. Change the inside, and the outside follows. This is the most important principle of personal transformation. Top performers see themselves differently than average performers. A top salesperson sees himself as a problem solver, an advisor, someone who genuinely helps people make good decisions. An average salesperson sees himself as a nuisance, someone bothering people to make a commission. Same job, different self-image. And that difference creates completely different results. This is where acting as if becomes your most powerful tool. When you act as if you are already the person you want to become, something extraordinary happens in your brain. Your nervous system responds to your behavior. If you walk confidently, stand tall, speak clearly, make decisions quickly, your brain interprets these signals and says, this person is confident, this person is capable, this person is a leader, and it releases the neurochemicals that support that identity. Your biology changes to match your behavior. Actors understand this principle. When an actor prepares for a role, they do not just memorize lines, they embody the character. They adopt the posture, the voice, the mannerisms, the thought patterns. They become the character. And while they are in character, they actually experience the emotions and mindset of that person. Their brain does not distinguish between acting and reality. The experience is real to the nervous system. You can do exactly the same thing with your ideal self. You can act as if you are already that person. Not someday, today, right now. Let me tell you about Nicole. Nicole worked as an accountant at a mid-sized company. She was competent at her job but invisible in meetings. She never spoke up. She never shared her ideas. She dressed plainly, kept her head down, did her work, went home. She wanted to become a chief financial officer someday, but that seemed like a distant fantasy. Then Nicole asked herself a critical question. How would a CFO act? How would a CFO present herself? How would a CFO contribute in meetings? How would a CFO handle challenges? She started studying actual CFOs. She noticed they dressed with authority, they spoke with conviction, they offered strategic insights, not just data. They commanded respect through their presence. Nicole decided to start acting like a CFO immediately, even though she was still an accountant. She upgraded her wardrobe. She started speaking up in meetings with well-prepared insights. She began thinking strategically instead of just tactically. She carried herself differently. She made eye contact. She spoke with clarity and confidence. Within 18 months, she was promoted to senior accountant. Within 3 years, she became the controller. Within 5 years, she was the CFO. What did Nicole do? She closed the gap between who she was and who she wanted to become by acting as if the gap did not exist. She borrowed the behaviors of her future self and used them today. And her reality shifted to match her behavior. Or you can do this starting immediately. The superior person, the excellent person, the top performer has specific habits that set them apart. These habits are not secrets, they are simple. But simple does not mean easy. Simple means you know exactly what to do. Easy means it requires no effort. Excellence is simple but not easy. It requires discipline. Start with your morning. How you begin your day determines how you live your day. The best performers in every field have morning rituals. They do not stumble out of bed and react to whatever comes at them. They take control. They prime their mind for excellence before the world makes demands on their attention. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than you do now. Use that time to program your mind. Read something educational. Review your goals. Visualize yourself performing at your peak. Exercise, even if just for 15 minutes. Feed your body good fuel. These actions tell your subconscious that you are someone who invests in yourself, someone who matters, someone who is going somewhere. The best prepare differently than everyone else. Before an important meeting, the average person shows up and wings it. The superior person prepares thoroughly. They anticipate questions, they rehearse key points, they visualize the interaction going well. Before a sales call, a top performer does research. They understand the prospect's business, they prepare intelligent questions, they practice their presentation. Preparation is respect. When you prepare, you respect yourself, you respect the other person, and you respect the opportunity. Continuous learning separates the excellent from the mediocre. Top performers read every day, they listen to educational audio programs while driving, they attend seminars, they find mentors, they never stop growing. Average people think learning ends when school ends. Superior people know that learning is a lifelong commitment. Your mind is like a muscle. Use it or lose it, feed it or starve it. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. How you manage your time reveals how you value yourself. People who waste time communicate to themselves that their life does not matter. People who guard their time and invest it wisely communicate that their life has purpose. The excellent person plans their day. They work from a list. They focus on high-value activities. They say no to distractions. They understand that time is the one resource they can never get back. Spend it like a poor person, and you stay poor. Invest it like a wealthy person, and you become wealthy. Your physical presence matters more than most people realize. How you dress, how you stand, how you move through space, all of these factors influence how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself. You do not need expensive clothes. You need clean, pressed, well-fitting clothes. You need good posture. You need to look people in the eye. You need a firm handshake. You need energy. Physical vitality creates mental vitality. When you feel strong in your body, you feel confident in your mind. Take care of your body. It is the vehicle that carries you through life. Now let me address something that stops most people from acting as if they are excellent. It is called impostor syndrome. This is the feeling that you are a fraud, that you do not really belong, that someone is going to find out you are not as good as you appear. Let me tell you something important. Every single person who has ever achieved anything significant has felt like an imposter at some point. The difference is that successful people feel it and act anyway. Unsuccessful people feel it and retreat when you step into a bigger role. You will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are growing. You are supposed to feel like you do not know what you are doing. That is what growth feels like. Competence does not come before action. Competence comes from action. You act, you learn, you improve, you become competent. The feeling of confidence comes after you have done the thing multiple times, not before. Think about learning to drive a car. At first, you were unconsciously incompetent. You did not know what you did not know. Then you became consciously incompetent. You sat behind the wheel and realized how much you had to learn. You had to think about every single action. Gas pedal, brake, mirror, signal, turn. It was overwhelming, but you practiced. And gradually, you became consciously competent. You could drive. But you had to focus, you had to think about each step. Then, with enough practice, you became unconsciously competent. Now you drive without thinking. Your hands and feet know what to do automatically. You can drive while having a conversation, listening to music, thinking about other things. Every skill follows this progression. When you act as if you are excellent in a new area, you will start at conscious incompetence. You will feel awkward. Do it anyway. With repetition, you become consciously competent. With more repetition, you become unconsciously competent. This is mastery. But you never get there if you wait until you feel ready. You must be willing to be bad at something before you can be good at it. Another trap that destroys potential is comparison. When you compare yourself to others, you poison your mind. There will always be someone better than you at something. Always. If you measure your worth by comparing yourself to others, you will either become arrogant or depressed. Arrogant if you find people below you, depressed if you find people above you. Both outcomes are destructive. The only valid comparison is with yourself. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you improving? That is all that matters. Run your own race. Focus on your own progress. Everyone else is on their own journey with their own starting point, their own advantages, their own challenges. Comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20 is foolish and painful. Instead, use other people's success as inspiration when you see someone excelling. Study them, learn from them, model their behaviors, but do not compete with them in your mind. Compete with yesterday's version of yourself. Let me tell you about Leonard. Leonard was a chef who worked at a good restaurant. He was talented, but he spent all his mental energy worrying about the other chefs. He would see their creations and feel inadequate. He would compare his dishes to theirs and find himself lacking. He was so busy looking sideways that he stopped looking forward. His creativity dried up. His passion faded. He became bitter and frustrated. One day, his mentor pulled him aside and said something that changed everything. Stop trying to be better than them. Start trying to be the best version of yourself. Create food that only you can create. Express your unique perspective. The world does not need another copy of someone else. It needs the original you. Leonard shifted his entire approach. He stopped competing and started creating. He drew on his own background, his own experiences, his own tastes. He experimented. He took risks. He developed a style that was distinctly his. Within a year, food critics were writing about his innovative approach. Within 2 years, he opened his own restaurant. He succeeded not by beating others, but by becoming fully himself. This is abundance mentality versus scarcity mentality. Scarcity says there is only so much success to go around. If someone else wins, I lose. Abundance says there is enough for everyone. Someone else's success does not diminish my opportunity. In fact, it proves that success is possible when you operate from abundance. You celebrate other people's victories. You learn from them. You collaborate instead of competing. And paradoxically, this mindset attracts more success to you. Now, let me give you the daily practice of superiority. These are concrete actions you take every single day to reinforce your identity as an excellent person. First thing in the morning, before you check your phone, before you talk to anyone, spend 5 minutes on affirmations. Say out loud who you are becoming. I am confident and capable. I am a top performer in my field. I solve problems effectively. I add value everywhere I go. I am worthy of success and happiness. Your subconscious mind listens to what you tell it. Program it deliberately. After affirmations, spend 5 minutes visualizing. Close your eyes and see yourself moving through your day with excellence. See yourself handling challenges with calm confidence. See yourself communicating clearly and powerfully. See yourself achieving your goals. Make it vivid. Engage all your senses. Your brain rehearses success and prepares you to perform at that level. Write your goals down every single day. Not once, every day. This act of writing focuses your mind. It activates your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information and notices opportunities related to your goals. When you write your goals daily, you train your brain to spot chances that move you toward those goals. Opportunities that were always there suddenly become visible. Surround yourself with excellence. You become like the people you spend time with. This is not opinion. This is documented fact. If you spend time with negative, complaining, limited people, you will absorb their attitudes. If you spend time with positive, ambitious, growing people, you will absorb their attitudes. Evaluate your 5 closest relationships. Are these people lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they supporting your growth or reinforcing your limitations? You may need to make difficult decisions about who gets access to your time and energy. Cut mediocrity from your environment. This includes what you watch, what you read, what you listen to. If you spend hours every day consuming trash television, gossip, negative news, your mind fills with trash. Superior people are selective about what enters their consciousness. They read books that educate and inspire. They listen to programs that challenge and expand their thinking. They guard their mind like it is the most valuable asset they own, because it is. Now let me prepare you for something inevitable. There will be days when doubt returns. You will have setbacks. You will face rejection. You will encounter obstacles. This is guaranteed. The question is not whether these things will happen. The question is how you will respond when they happen. Understand that setbacks are normal. Every successful person has failed more times than unsuccessful people have tried. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. It is feedback. It is information. It tells you what does not work so you can adjust and find what does work. Thomas Edison tested thousands of materials before finding the right filament for the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said he had not failed. He had simply found thousands of ways that did not work. Each experiment brought him closer to the solution. When you face a setback, you have a choice. You can interpret it as evidence that you are not good enough, or you can interpret it as useful data for your next attempt. Your interpretation determines your response. Champions interpret setbacks as temporary and specific. This approach did not work in this situation. Defeated people interpret setbacks as permanent and global. I am a failure. Nothing ever works for me. Same event, different interpretation, different outcome. Here is your bounce back protocol when something goes wrong. Give yourself a moment to feel the disappointment. That is human. But set a time limit, 15 minutes, 1 hour, whatever feels right, feel it fully, then move on. Ask yourself 3 questions. What can I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? What is my very next action? These questions shift you from victim to problem solver, from passive to active, from stuck to moving forward. Take personal responsibility for everything in your life. Everything. This is hard but essential. You are responsible for your results. Not your boss, not your family, not the economy, not your past. You. When you accept complete responsibility, you reclaim your power. Victims blame circumstances. Victors take ownership. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you control how you respond. And your response determines your life quality. Today is your decision point, not someday, today. You have spent enough time living below your potential. You have spent enough time playing small. You have spent enough time waiting for permission, waiting to feel ready, waiting for circumstances to be perfect. The waiting is over. Make the decision right now. Decide that you will act as if you are excellent. Decide that you will carry yourself like someone who has immense value. Decide that you will no longer accept mediocrity from yourself.